the Canucks have an off day, so I wanted to talk about JT Miller because this is actually a pretty interesting conversation that you can have with any Vancouver Canucks fan who has been remotely keeping up with this team, and they will probably have some form of an opinion or two about it. So, let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks because yesterday in the loss against the Winnipeg Jets, and by the way, if you did watch that video, thank you so much. It is kind of strange. I did note this in yesterday's video, but it is kind of true how the videos when the team does poorly, they do significantly better than when they win nowadays, which is weird for me as a content creator because as a guy who loves this team, I want to see it win, but hey, you know, if the losses are pulling in the ad revenue, then I won't really have too many complaints about that either. But for JT Miller, he has been one of the more interesting conversation pieces about this Vancouver Canucks team, especially after the comments he made yesterday when the team ended up losing 5-2 to the Winnipeg Jets. He said this in the post-game press, and it was posted over here on Twitter by Farhan Malji. For the Vancouver Canucks, it's not a position to be splitting two-game series. We need to win. We want to win games right now. We're on the outside looking in. At least put a better effort on the ice than that. We need to be our best 9 times out of 10 to push ourselves. And you know what? That's probably one of the bigger things that I've always come to like about JT Miller, the fact that he is so outspoken and he's so harsh with the truth, and he says all the right things, you know? He's that guy that you know that just always has the right thing to say. No matter what it is, you can talk to him about it, he'll give you some input, and he'll probably, more often than not, tell you exactly what it is that you need to hear. But when the going gets tough, and things are actually put into practice, in real life, instead of just in theory, in the hypothetical, he doesn't really display the same amount of care than when he's actually talking about it, saying, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to be 9 out of 10, the best that we can be at all times, we can't be losing games, we need to be better, we need to have effort and all that. Because when you take a look at some of the things that happened yesterday, especially in the game, this was a post that Thatcher Demko made on 650 the other night after the game. He criticized JT Miller's brashness in his comments because it contradicts what JT Miller was doing out there. For example, on the second Winnipeg goal, the back check to the net where he completely let his man go free and have free reign to the front of the goal. In fact, there have been a few moments throughout this season. Remember the Braden Holtby pass off the boards that was supposed to go to Miller, but he missed it and it was picked off by, I believe it was like McDavid or somebody. It was somebody in the Oilers, I think. Or if it was not, no, it was Matthews. That's who it was. Toronto, Matthews, yeah. And JT Miller, again, the work effort. He's out there not receiving the puck. What does he do? He turns around, he glides towards the area where the puck is at, and he just watches Matthews come in and score on Holtby. That was the point that Thatcher Demko made on yesterday's program that I liked very much, that JT Miller, even though he says all the right things, he never really does all the right things in practice and when things are ramped up to the most paramount that they can be. Then we also had all the stuff with JT Miller talking about how he was really angry at some shifts. I think we noticed this earlier on in one of the home games because the Canucks had a few homestands to kick off the year. It was where JT Miller was chasing the puck down in the corner and he lost the puck battle and he was yelling, cursing like a sailor, and the microphones picked it up. And then JT Miller kind of, with his head down, skated towards the bench. The puck was in front of him, and then he tried to fight for it again. He lost that puck battle, and then as he stepped off the ice, he just yelled out even more curse words. That was kind of the start of it, back whenever that game was. I don't even remember what game it was, but it happened. And ever since then, we kind of just saw more and more glimpses of JT Miller just being really, really upset on the ice. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's great to see somebody who actually shows passion out there and you can tell he cares about what he's doing. But the contradiction is there when he is out there talking about work effort and levels of compete and being your best, but you still have those defensive collapses, those moments in games that are really tight that just completely flip the script and allow the opposition to come back in a big, meaningful way. Yesterday's goal from Matthew Perreault on that terrible giveaway by Sutter and that back check by JT Miller, that goal came with like 2 seconds left in the first period. If that goal does not go in, or if it doesn't have a chance to go in, there's no play made that would even remotely remotely imply the existence of a goal even being able to go in the first place, then you have a completely different game. Starting off the second period tied 1-1 is a lot different than starting it up down by 1. And I know the devil's advocate for JT Miller is, but the guy is still scoring points, and that is good. It's a good thing to see JT Miller scoring the clutch goals, making the clutch plays, getting assists, getting points. He's at 20 points already, even though he missed out on the first few games of the season. Amazing production out of JT Miller. But the problem with this is, even though he is out there still getting clutch goals, like I mentioned the goal by Perreault at the end of the first period last night, Miller gets a goal at the end of the second period last night. A power play one-timer bomb. We don't really see those all too often from JT Miller. All his other goals are normally, just like either pinpoint accurate laser snipes or tip-ins, dirty goals and all that stuff. Never really the bombs like the OVPD one-time slap shot bombs. But you know what? If he starts doing that a lot more, I'd be very happy seeing JT Miller out there on the ice, especially on the power play. But the problem is, even though he is still scoring points, he's still getting assists, he's still one of the more capable offensive producers on this team. You show me the footage, the game tape of JT Miller shift by shift in this season, and you compare it to last year, you compare it to the playoffs against St. Louis, for example. It's funny because I don't think those two are the same player. Is it me, or is this kind of guy just not really the same all round? Sure, offensively, the points, they're exactly the same, almost the same, in the same realm at the very least. But the defensive play, the awareness, the attraction to actually being in puck battles defensively, it's a lot different, I would think. Just from using my bare naked eyes, watching this Canucks team this year and watching the team last year. Now, we know JT Miller's a competitive guy. We see that every time he loses a puck battle, he goes off to the bench yelling his head off. We know that. But there's a part of me that says maybe there's got to be something else here. Maybe it's the fact that the team is really just inferior than the team that they had last year that is leading to a bigger amount of internal frustration and as a result, a bigger amount of tension that is released every time he ends up going on a yelling spree. And it also leads to a lack of care in his own zone because maybe he's thinking, okay, I'm on this team to score points. That's my role on the team. This team is not really going to do all too much if I'm not out there scoring points. And to be fair, it's kind of right. I mean, last night, take a look at the point producers for this Canucks squad. It's Petey, it's Boeser, it's Miller, and it's Hughes. So, it's the guys, I think just having the established role that these players, Horvat, Boeser, Petey, Hughes, and Miller, are the point producers, quote-unquote, I think that could potentially, not saying it is, but it could get in the heads of those that are in that group and start saying, okay, maybe because I need to be out there scoring points, it's kind of okay to just kind of wait around at the blue line, waiting for Jordy Ben to steal the puck away, give it up to me so I can go out there, send a centering pass, and Brock Boeser can score it later. Who knows if that's what's going on? That's just my own personal opinion. Obviously, I'm no insider. I'm no sports analyst or whatever. I'm just a guy who watches this team, who has an opinion on the team. So if you have your own opinion on what's going on as well, feel free to comment down in the comment section below because, as I said, Miller is getting points. That is awesome. It's great seeing him still have the ability to translate on paper. It's just, he's a different hockey player, dude. And I don't know how to describe it any more than I already have. So to see the comment that was made yesterday after yesterday's loss and to see Satyr Shah first and foremost rip it apart, talking about how Miller needs to be the guy leading by example in this conversation, despite the fact that he is not half the time, because when he does leave his checks open or kind of lazily go back on the back check, it leads to goals. That's where you have an issue here. So, yeah, oh my gosh, I can't believe we went 9 minutes about this topic. Let's just end the video here. Talk to me in the comments what you thought about JT Miller and what we've been conversing about here. I'd be looking forward to reading your comments in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Trolls 99, and bye.